officers and court staff should vigorously and jealously guard independence of judiciary and its integrity. Besides, parting of judiciary from executive in all respects in accordance with the provisions of the Constitution may be ensured. Abstinence from public discussion on matters sub judice before courts of law and dialogue on disposition, personal or matters of the honorable judges and judicial officers. Down to Balochistan, sir.
Page 2 के second पैरा से शुरू करें.
Yes, sir. The All Judges Committee of Balochistan High Court noted regrettably that the grievances of the judges of the Islamabad High Court should have been resolved at the High Court level. In pursuance of order dated 3rd April 2024, passed in suo motu case number 1 of 2024, the All Judges Committee of Balochistan High Court convened on 23rd April 2024 as the said order was delivered in the late hours of 22/4/2024. The order passed by larger bench of Honorable Supreme Court in the backdrop of letter written by judges of Islamabad High Court were perused, and after detailed deliberations it was unanimously resolved that any interference from any quarter in dispensation of justice by the high courts of the country would amount to subversion of the Constitution of Islamic Republic of Pakistan. Constitution. And in this regard, zero tolerance has to be shown as the doctrine of basic structure of state of Constitution envisaged in the Constitution provides trichotomy of powers amongst executive, legislature and judiciary. This separation of powers amongst the state organs is necessary for effective check and balances. The philosopher Montesquieu had postulated in the 18th century that uniting these powers could lead to authoritarianism. Next paragraph. The All Judges Committee of Balochistan High Court noted, regrettably, that the grievance of the judges of the Islamabad High Court should have been resolved at the High Court level, either administratively or by resorting to contempt proceedings under Article 204 of the Constitution and under relevant provisions of the Contempt of Court Ordinance 2003. The legislature, in its wisdom, while framing the Constitution, has provided independent high courts in the country to exercise powers within their respective jurisdictions, and since high courts are not under supervisory or administrative control of Honorable Supreme Court, therefore such like issues should have been resolved by the respective high courts at their own level. The saying goes, perceptions are stronger than reality. Therefore, one negative impact of this whole episode upon the judicial system of the country is that it has to some extent shattered the trust of people of the country regarding independence of judiciary. It has created a false notion amongst the masses that judge of the High Court is not only vulnerable but helpless and hopeless as well. The slogan, Justice for Mr. Justice, is ironical. Justice for Mr. Justice is ironical. Nevertheless, since the Honorable Supreme Court has initiated the suo motu proceedings, therefore this issue of illegal interference is required to be resolved once and for all, as injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere, and whatever affects one directly affects all indirectly. In the case of Justice Qazi Faiz Isa, the Honorable Supreme Court has observed, 58, para 58, history is witness to the fact that the fundamental rights, particularly of those who are the most vulnerable, becomes the first casualty in societies where the judiciary comprises those who were compromised and thus susceptible to being influenced from those wielding power and influence. The edifice of the judicial independence rests on the assumption that every judge, besides being fair and impartial, is fiercely independent and is free to uphold his judicial views. This judicial freedom is fundamental to the concept of the rule of law. Any attempt to muffle judicial independence or to stifle dissent shakes the foundation of a free and impartial judicial system, thus eroding public confidence on which the entire edifice of judicature stands. Public confidence is the most precious asset of this organ of the state, which controls neither the sword nor the purse. In view of the checkered constitution,
Justice Mansoor Ali Shah का है ना?
ये राइटिंग तो
जजमेंट दीजिए
साहब भी थे ना?
नहीं, ये आपकी लग रही है।
लैंग्वेज
नहीं, आपकी है।
लेकिन लैंग्वेज से आगे भी चले,
ये जजमेंट निकाल दें।
लेकिन आपने यह भी पढ़ा है, अटॉर्नी जनरल साहब, वेरी ऑनेस्टली कैन यू आंसर, लोगों का पब्लिक कॉन्फिडेंस है इस इदारे में कि उनके फंडामेंटल राइट्स प्रोटेक्ट हो रहे? The kind of executive ने जो कुछ किया है is known to everyone, and it's happening right. You see, the Supreme Court is responsible. Enforced disappearances हैं, लोग अब I don't want to
इसको
go
हम
into
खत्म कर
details.
लेना, पढ़ तो लेना ये पूरा